What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, CamATL, and welcome back to another DFS video with your boy. Drop a like down below because I already know you're going to love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment anything in the comment section to enter your name into the $50 giveaway that I do every single week on this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Week 8 begins tomorrow. I'm recording this video Wednesday night. This is the first look lineup video for week 8. All right, in this video, we're pretty much just going to put a first look lineup together based off of what we like so far early on in the slate, kind of a good starting point. And then later in the week, come Friday night, I'm going to drop a video where we're going to go position by position and talk about every play that we're interested in position by position. All right? So, with that being said, for the first look lineup video for week 8, we had an amazing week 7. If you want to join the squad at greenlightdfs.com, do so. Greenlightdfs.com. Join the squad with the NFL package and let's get it. All right. So, starting off at quarterback, Brock Purdy, I can't talk. Brock Purdy is going to miss most likely. So, Sam Darnold projects out pretty well here as the starting quarterback for San Francisco. Sam Darnold's not great, but he's serviceable and on a team that can find a way to make the quarterback look great. We don't need a lot from him for 4-3. Okay, he's got good talent around him. He's got great coaches around him, and he's in a good matchup against Cincinnati. At home in San Francisco, you've got a running back like McCaffrey to take some of the pressure off of him. I like Sam Darnold at 4-3 as a very cheap option. You don't even have to pair him with anybody. He's so cheap. Okay, obviously he's not going to get you like rushing yards like you normally would want out of a guy if you're playing him solo, but he's so cheap that he's serviceable as running just by himself. Okay. With that being said, at the running back position, I'm kind of spending up, man, so far. Alvin Kamara, I really love, and then I really love Tony Pollard in his matchup against the Rams. Alvin Kamara's in a great spot here. He's getting so much work in the pass game as well as getting his carries as normal. Alvin Kamara is a PPR monster on Draftkings, full point PPR. Great spot for him against the Colts here in this one. They are underdogs, so we probably see some good amount of targets to him. He got 14 targets last week. He had an amazing game last week with 14 targets and 12 catches. Like, he's a wide receiver 1 and a running back 1. Alvin Kamara is a lock for me at 7-3. Next up, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's just going to get a ton of work once again in this offense. He's going to get that 15 to 20 carries. He's going to get that 5 to 8 targets. Tony Pollard's in a great spot here. And they're minus 290 favorites against the Rams. So this is probably going to end up being a run-heavy script. You're going to see a lot of Pollard. Wouldn't be surprised to see Pollard end up in the end zone a few times. All right. Next up, this dude's just been absolutely breaking slates lately. And honestly, with how good he's been and how good Tua and him have been together, yes, New England is good. Belichick has been good throughout his career, shutting down number ones, finding ways to limit guys. But honestly, Tyreek Hill's on a whole nother level. Okay, like it's a great spot for him. He's gonna be an elite option week in, week out. Great spot. Him and Tua, just the chemistry is fantastic. He's at home in Miami. Yeah, Tyreek Hill is an amazing option for PPR. He gets so many targets in this offense, man. It's just crazy. 15 targets last week against Philly. So, great spot for. He's not going to get 15 targets here against New England, but I would not be surprised to see 10 or more. And it's definitely a great position from him. He came out and was like, hey, after his 15 targets, 11 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown, he came out and said, I have to do better. So, dude's on a mission, okay? He had a solid game and still came out and said, I got to do better. So, I'm expecting a big game out of Tyreek. There's really nothing you can do. You could try to limit him as much as you can, but, I mean, with this dude, with the amount of work he gets, how fast he is, there's just no way to limit him. He's going to get those big plays. He's going to get peppered with targets. It just is what it is, all right? On the other side of that game, running back Tyreek, I'm going to go Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne's been getting a lot of work in this New England offense, man. Last 2 weeks, 19 and 17 DraftKings points. 11 targets and 7 targets. Got in the end zone last week for us. We played him against Buffalo. Figured, look, they're going to be down big. It's going to be a pass-heavy script. I expected. The game ended up being actually pretty close. But I expected New England to be behind a lot and have to throw a ton. Now, if that script would have happened, then he would have been even better than he was. But just based off of that expected game script, Bourne ended up having a solid game anyway. 7 targets, 6 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. Against Miami, I'm expecting them to be behind once again. That's my expectation. If they come out and they show out and they get ahead, whatever, it is what it is. He's still going to get work, but I'm expecting him to be playing from behind and still get like highly used in this offense. When New England's passing the ball, they're passing a lot to Bourne. So I really like this spot for Bourne at 4-7. Next up, another cheap guy that's been doing his thing. Josh Downs at 4-8, under that 5K range. Running back Alvin Kamara. It's a great spot for him, man. I mean, look at how good he has been this year. I mean, he's got his lowest performance is 5 DraftKings points. Outside of that, he's got upside. He's got the 13, 15, 13, and 26 last week. He's getting that 6 to 10 targets. Like, he's solid. He's gotten a touchdown in each of his last 2 games. Running back to Alvin Kamara love. I love Josh Downs getting some exposure on the other side of that game. All right. Next up, as a value, I haven't really spent up a ton early on this week on tight end. Trey McBride at 2-8. Really like the value here with him, man. He's been getting involved in this Arizona offense, and most times Arizona is going to be behind big, and they're going to have to throw it a lot. He got 5 and 6 targets the last couple weeks. He's getting solid amount of targets for a guy who's only 2-8. Great spot against Baltimore, playing from behind, having to throw a lot. Absolutely love the spot for Trey McBride at 2-8. He's my favorite value play at tight end for sure. And with tight end, I mean, I'm either wanting to spend up or I'm wanting to just spend all the way down. Especially if I'm spending down, I'm getting a guy who's at least going to get those targets. I'm not going to punt it to the point where a guy who barely sees the field. But at 2-8, Trey McBride's been getting targets, so I'm running that. I like the value of him. All right, running that back on the other end of thing. On the other end of that, Zay Flowers is just kind of what I landed on at utility. You can look at that spot and play with it all you want. Remember, it's early week, so you still got some messing around with lineups to do. But I like Zay Flowers a lot. It's a high Baltimore total this week, and Zay Flowers just been incredibly consistent, man. He's gotten 10 or more in every game but one. He's just been getting the solid targets. He's gonna once again, he's gonna get you 6 to 10 targets, and if he gets in the end zone, he's immediately gonna have a big game. So I like this spot for Zay Flowers. You can play with it though. I completely understand if you're looking at that script and you're like, this is not a script I really want much of Zay Flowers on. I can completely understand you on that. All right, now if you're looking at that price range around that 5.7, 5.5 range, whatever. You have Nico Collins against Carolina, who's serviceable. Terry McLaurin against Philly playing from behind is very interesting. That's that game script that you would be looking for with Washington playing from behind. They'll have to throw a lot. Terry McLaurin could be a guy they definitely lean on. Damian Pierce is a value option that you could use there. Gus Edwards. Instead of Zay, you could go the run game with Gus Edwards. Yeah, I mean, last week Gus got 14 carries, 64 yards, and a touchdown. He gets in the end zone and has some good garbage time running once they're up big. I really like that spot for Gus as well at 5.5. You could do that as well. But with full point PPR and Gus not getting involved in the pass game, I really like Zay Flowers there. All right. And then last but not least, at defense, I landed on the Seahawks. Deshaun Watson's been really bad. I believe what's going on with that situation? Is Watson going to be back starting or what? Who knows? Honestly, let me check and see what's going on with him. It looks like they're going to start PJ Walker. All right, he came in and he did okay. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Pay attention to that situation. It was a weird situation. I mean, I believe he ended up in concussion protocol, but I'm not 100% on that situation. So I really like the Seahawks. They're in a fantastic spot at home in Seattle at only 3-4 against most likely a backup quarterback. Even if they play Watson, Watson's been dreadful, throwing pick after pick. So I really like that spot for Seattle a lot, and that's where I finish it off at. As you guys know, for some reason the lineup builder doesn't want to let me lock in a defense, but you get the gist. All right, we got Sam Darnold as just a value option. Okay, Brock Purdy's in concussion protocol, probably not going to play. He's got an amazing set of coaches behind him. He's got great talent around him. Good matchup against Cincinnati. Sam Darnold at 4.3. You could do worse than a guy in his position. Alvin Kamara at 7.3. PPR monster going to get heavily involved in the pass game here. Tony Pollard, expected fave, run heavy script. Tony Pollard, I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple touchdowns. Tyreek Hill has just been absolutely slate breaking, week in, week out. Completely understand if you want to go down from him. That's perfectly fine. He is 9'5". He's way up there. And if you think Belichick can limit Tyreek in any way, then I completely understand. All right, I completely understand the thought process. I mean, last time against this New England squad in Week 2, Tyreek Hill got 9 targets for 5 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. All right, he only got 15 DraftKings points. Honestly, I feel like that's a floor for him. I mean, and obviously he can go huge. He's got huge upside. So I like his floor. Plus, he's got like I said, slate breaking takedown upside. Kendrick Bourne on the other side of that game, I'm expecting them to be playing from behind. A lot of Kendrick Bourne. Same reasoning I used against Buffalo. He ended up having a solid game, even with the script not exactly how I expected. Same thought process here, though, playing from behind against Miami, throwing a lot. Kendrick Bourne's going to be a great option. Josh Downs, running back, Alvin Kamara. Trey McBride's just a value tight end punt option. He's getting 5 and 6 targets last 2 games. He's getting involved in that offense. They're big underdogs. And then on the other side of that game, Zay Flowers in full point PPR on DraftKings. I like the amount of usage Flowers has been getting, the amount of looks he's been getting. Great matchup against Arizona at only 5'6". The other options there, remember we talked about other options in that spot. Terry McLaurin looks good playing from behind against Philly. The run game guy, Gus Edwards for Baltimore, is an option as well. So there's other options you could pivot to, especially if you drop down from Tyreek, and then you can kind of balance up from Zay Flowers, if you decide to do that. Whatever you decide to do, man. And then at defense, Seattle defense. All right. Good luck week 8, ladies and gentlemen. I will see y'all on Friday night for the final look video. The DFS videos are going to be at nighttime, and then we'll have the props made easy videos in the morning times. That way I'm not having to do a million at one time. All right. Thank y'all for joining me as always, man. Let's get it. Greenlightdfs.com. Let's have another amazing week, and I'm out. Peace.